Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. It's Thursday night, and it's the IWCP, the Independent Wrestling Community Podcast, right here on the Value Wrestling, right here on YouTube. I'm the Big Time. Of course, I'm joined by the one and only Big Man himself, Mr. Z, the future super heavyweight luchador, Senor Z. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's here. What a week we just got done with. Sunday was amazing. SPW Hostile Holiday. What an amazing show. We're going to break that down a little bit later in this program. But we got a lot of recordings. We can't wait to get that all put up. And that, of course, will be on the Supreme Pro Wrestling YouTube channel when we get that all put together. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have another special guest. Last Thursday we got joined by the current SPW Heavyweight Champion, the Obsidian Adonis Illumide. Undisputed, undefeated, and what a match he had on Sunday. But this week, we're joined by somebody else who has a very deep history in SPW, a former, I believe, multi-time SPW heavyweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to welcome our guest here as soon as I get everything right. Yep, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Big Ugly J.D. Bishop, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day and joining us. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, feeling the bumps and my joints hurt from old age, but I'm good. I'm doing good.
There you go. A busy man indeed. And I mean, the big thing is we know this Saturday in Vacaville, you've got a major event going down, and it's sort of a special event because I believe you have a couple of new stars that are making their debut on the show. Share what you got going on Saturday.
Yeah, since I started training people, I've always tried to make the students' first match or kind of like a graduation, like when you're going to school, because that's basically what wrestling school is. It's a it's a graduation and a rebirth and a this is welcome to the next part of your life, type of thing. So I've always tried to make it something special. And the last time when my second group graduated from the old building, we did the same thing, but it was a Saturday matinee show. This time we have a smaller group. We only have three that ended up making it through the training. And so I basically let them pick their own match, and we're going to do it on our big show. So each one of the students have been there anywhere from 7 to 9 months, maybe 10. And they all got to pick their opponent of their choice from my roster, and they all made some pretty good picks.
No, the card definitely looks solid. I don't know offhand, but what are some of the big matches that people should be excited for? I know there's some big names we're excited to see. I know one of those names that we didn't just see this Sunday, but a good buddy, Mr. Z's good friend. We got to see him at Realm of Warrior Championship Wrestling. I heard we got big old El Chupacabra coming through. Good old Chupi.
Yes, Chupi's going to be there. He's generally at everything I do with as far as booking. Chupi's involved in some aspect or another. He was on the shelf for a while with a lot of injuries, just came back in. But yeah, he's coming in and he's going to be working with Drake Frost and Illuminate in a three-way number one contender match.
Now that right there, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you're talking about three big names right there. I mean, the Frost experience, the Big Hoss, Drake Frost is one of a kind talent. And of course, as we preach on this channel, and as you saw last week, and the Obsidian Adonis, the Dart Fox, Illumide, this is the man that I would bet everything. It's a big part of the future, and that's a talent. And of course, Chupi, is a one-of-kind talent. I mean, a big name in California, and it's going to be exciting to see him there. What other exciting things do you have planned for Saturday night?
Another match that I'm myself really excited for is one for the Ugly Dojo heavyweight title. It's going to be the challenger Surza against the normal contender Jason Xavier. Both these guys are definitely top guys in the area. I'm just glad that they chosen to be a part of this company and chosen to bring their skills to the Ugly Dojo.
Mr. Z, what do you think about all this, and how do you feeling about Saturday?
I'm excited for one. I mean, this is like you said before, we're seeing a lot of stars of tomorrow being brought up and going to do big things, and I'm excited for it. A lot of top matches, a lot of top guys doing big matches. Um, like you said, Jason Xavier's on the card, and we've seen him doing big things. We had, like you said before, it's like you got Frost, you got Illumide and Chupi in a three-way. That's a big deal too. But I mean, I'm like I said, more looking forward to seeing how these new students come up and show what they have to bring to the table, and put their name on, put their name out there and on the map, so to speak.
Yeah, the before I get into the students, because I can go on all day about those knuckleheads, but the one match that actually I'm getting a lot of buzz about because of the people in it is Abigail Warren versus Mary. She's currently the Pacific Northwest top star. She has belts at DOA, has belts at Power Pro Wrestling. She's dominating on Defy and all those companies there. So she's doing some big things, and she just got her stuff together to go to Japan. So she'll be going to wrestle for Marvelous pretty soon. And we're just lucky enough to get her. She's from Oregon Wrestling School, was trained by Ricky Gibson from Midnight Heat. So it's going to be definitely a surprise for people around here who don't know who she is. And then she's working one of our best, which is Abigail Warren. Obviously my child and a former student of mine. So it's definitely going to be a match that I think people are going to be shockingly surprised on how good it's going to be. But along the lines of my other students, when I first started forming what the dojo was going to become, I wanted to obviously use my students my students from the past, as well as I kind of had been scouting certain people. Illuminate was one of them. Surza was one of them. Jason Xavier was one of them. There's a couple guys I had been scouting because I wanted to use them if I ran again, and they were definitely the top of the list. Now, guys like Chupi and Frost, they've been my students. They were my students years ago, so they're always going to be on my shows. I try to get Samurai on my shows, but he's always doing some damn show somewhere or a freaking triathlon or some shit. The SPW guys are so busy; it's hard to use them on a lot of my shows. But I use the 80K kids because they're really good kids. And but the three new students coming out, they're They're definitely been put through the paces because they were started training with my camp that just graduated, the second class, who definitely put them through the paces. Didn't hold back and really worked them really hard, and spent a lot of time with them on getting them ready for their journey to start their journey. So I've had my son Bishop in that group, Bobby Bayou, Travis Alexander, Lo Devereaux, just a couple of the main guys who were with the second camp, who are now uh, senior students. They definitely helped them out and pretty much, roughed them up in practice a little bit and sent them on the straight path. But it's a family. That's what we do. But these three coming up, Jules, he's actually from my hometown, West Sac, and I didn't coach him in football or anything, but he's from West Sac. He used to sell T-shirts and things like that. I think he had a podcast or something as well. Finally decided to make the jump into pro wrestling. Um, the Brian, actually the kid I'm working, is from my high school that I coached at. Didn't play football for me, but he was at my high school where I coached. And then the last one is Tim Rogan, who comes all the way from Turlock every day. Drives up here 3 days a week, gets home, sleeps, goes to work. Just kind of similar to my journey in wrestling. So they definitely have paid the price. They don't miss practice. They may come late sometimes because of traffic, but they don't miss. They're there every day. So they definitely deserve what they're going to get on Saturday.
And we know what that's like because we're down here in Modesto and we make that drive up to, all these different places to be a part of different things. So we definitely understand that aspect. Now, you have a deep history in the world of professional wrestling. I mean, you've been around. Maybe not everybody knows your name, but I mean, it's also really amazing to hear that it seems like all your kids have kind of picked up that mantle to continue the legacy and also develop on their own. How does that feel to see your children kind of getting into that and continuing, kind of the next chapter?
It's kind of surreal. Growing up, most people know me, but people don't know me know that I also coached high school football for pretty much 25 years. Um, Maybe no longer than that actually. But so my two older kids played football for me. I coached them through their youth, and then I coached them when they got to high school. And that was supposed to be their path. They wanted to do both wanted to do football. Abigail got more into rugby, but they wanted to do sports in college and things like that. Um, when they finally decided to make the choice to get into pro wrestling, I had been kind of away from the business for a while, just working shows once in a while, nothing training or nothing really too much involved. So I started helping Virgil Flynn run his school, just so I can get Abigail ring time, start training her. Um, After Virgil passed away, I kind of ran his school for a little bit, and then Titus graduated, and college football was on the table, but it ended up because of an injury, getting the scholarship pulled from where they wanted him to go. So he ended up just getting started training with Abigail to bump because I didn't want to bump every day. And then SPW had a show at the old Catholic Gymnasium over there on St. Peter's Hall, and it was their last show, and they had lost the building. And I asked them, "Hey, can my kids work a match?" And they were like, "Yeah, no problem." So Samurai gave us the blessing, let them have a match, and they went in there and had a great match. And Titus walks over, and he's like, "I don't want to do football anymore, Dad. I want to wrestle." And I was like, "Shit, here we go." So then I just kind of started getting the ball rolling, running Virgil school longer, and then a couple other guys came in, Joe Gamble and Mercedes, who's a partner with me for Ugly Dojo, and then I just started training those four, and then next thing you know, it was just off to the races, And now to see what they're doing, I'm glad that they have streaming services now because there's some days where Abigail's up in Oregon doing a double shot, Titus is in Japan, and me and Bishop are over here somewhere working, and it's without that, man, I don't know what I would do because I'm that old soccer dad with the camera watching his kids play, filming everything, taking pictures and everything. I'm still a father at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. So I'm very proud of what they've done. And Bishop's the baby, well, not the baby anymore, but he's the young one that's just getting into it. So he's got some good leaders helping him out, and he's probably out of the three, the one who's always knew he wanted to be a wrestler. That was always his path. He didn't want to do anything else. He played football a couple of years, and then he's like, "No, I don't want to do this anymore, Dad." And he just always wanted to be a wrestler. So now he's starting to live the beginning of his dream.
And that's awesome. I mean, that's just an awesome thing to see. And I know we've seen Bishop a couple of times in action, and I know Mr. Z knows a little bit about Titus because he's our Japan expert. He knows everything about, or at least he tries to know everything going on in Japan. But For the fans that may not know exactly who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history, how you got into wrestling, how you started it, and I mean, recently on your vlog you talked about a word that kind of, and since we kind of work with SPW, Supreme Pro Wrestling, you're kind of a original SPW. Why don't you share a little bit about that history for us?
Yeah, my original path was similar to Titus. I wanted to play football in college. And I kind of had a letter to go to Humboldt State. I went up there for a summer camp and got into some trouble, which it's a whole nother podcast on. So they kind of pulled my scholarship, or were going to give me a partial, and I didn't have a lot of money. My dad was loved my dad to death. He was a custodian, so he didn't, like, we weren't living rich, to pay for a D1 school. So I just decided I'm going to go to the military. Went to the military for almost 2.5 years, medical doubt because of my knees, and then got home, got into wrestling. And after I think it was a year and a half of training, I was at a show in Arco Arena, the old Arco Arena, a WCW show with one of my friends, and this guy was handing out flyers for a local show, and we're like, "Hey, we're wrestlers," and he invited us to come on out, and from then on, we became part of the SPW family. And I think it was probably about 4 or 5 shows into it, he asked me to come in as an owner and be the booker. And I was like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I don't know. I'm a greenhorn. I've only been doing it a couple months. And he's like, yeah, but you're not going to screw me over like these other guys are. So I took it. I was like, sure, no problem. I just look at it as, in my mind, I'm going to be making a lot more money if I'm an owner of a wrestling company. These guys are millionaires, You've seen them on TV. They're making a lot of money. And then when I found out that it was going to be being an owner, man, I had to put in $250 a month and a bunch of other shit. And it was just like, dude, this isn't what I planned. But I was already so deep into it, that I just said, let's roll. He actually had these backyard kids from Stockton, RWF, I think was their name, and he was renting their ring, and he told them, hey, if Ugly trains you, can you just give us the ring for free? And they were all for it. And I'm like, so you're expecting me to drive to Stockton 3 nights a week to fucking train these guys? And so that's how I opened up my first school. I was
Awesome.
7 months in the business training people. I just knew more than they did, so time and time built up. I actually where I met Flaco Loco, and as I just kept training people, I started going to camps all over the country, not country, but the West Coast, and learning from people, taking any camp I could find. And my original trainer was Mike Modest. And then I later went to NAW, trained by Brian Ward. So Mike was always made himself available for me. If I had a question, if I had anything, he would tell me. He'd send me. Back then, it was like a lot of MySpace, so he'd send me links to stuff, and he was just always a good guy. And to this day, I just asked him a question a couple weeks ago on a hold, and he unfucked me on it. So he's a good guy, But other than that, I just had a lot of good friends in the business that would help me out and just guide me along the right way. And then because I had a coaching background, I just knew how to coach people, and it just became my thing. And then little by little, the army started building. I met Samurai's crew. I met Frosty and all them, and the family just built up, and it was just an amazing thing. And it still is. SPW is still an amazing thing.
Yes.
We were always like the bastard stepchild of Northern California. Because APW was the big dog on the block, and then you had BTW and a couple of other companies that would come around once in a while. But we were always like the bastards, step kids of NorCal. So that kind of brought us all together, and we were just felt like we were like the ECW, like people just shit on us, and then so we just did what we could to piss people off, and did a lot of crazy things, death matches and stuff, and got our name out there. And the next thing you know, we're like the top company, or one of the top companies.
Definitely making names in SPW. I'm an old Army vet, so what branch were you in?
I was in the 82nd Airborne.
Okay.
So I went to Fort Benning for my OSET, and then went to, or not Benning, Fort Benning, and then I shipped off to Bragg I was only at Bragg for like 6 months.
Okay.
But yeah, I was fucking infantry.
Nice. Yeah, I did basic down at Fort Jackson. I went up to Fort Eustis for my AIT, and I was part of the 101st Airborne Division there in Kentucky, all air assault.
Air assault, yeah.
So yeah. Wow. Great time.
Yeah, no,
great.
I wish I would have stood longer. Yeah, I wish I would have stood longer, because the military kind of unfucked me, because I was kind of a knuckle. I don't know if I should cuss on here, but
you're good.
I was kind of a knucklehead. I was kind of a knucklehead when I was fresh out of high school, and after I lost my football stuff, I was kind of like F the world, and they kind of locked me on. I mean, it was so bad. I'm sure you can relate. When I came home for Christmas break, I was at McDonald's standing in parade rest. Because you get so ingrained into that lifestyle. Like
I still do it. I still do it to this day. There's still moments and just living it. Because I mean, I did 4 years, and mine, I went in a little older. I wish I would have gone in younger after I went in, because I was like, man, I should have done this a long time ago. And I went in with different reasons, but yeah, it was the best time. And then I got out because things weren't great. It was about, let's see, it was 2012, but that's all political and other stuff that we won't get into. And I got out, but now it's some days I'm like, I should have just stayed in. I should have just pushed through it, because there's just something about it that's special. And I think that there's a lot of connections that if you're military, you might see in wrestling. There's just a camaraderie, a brotherhood that is very similar that you get there, which is really awesome.
Yeah, the first year I coached, I was coaching with a guy who was former military, he's an older guy, but I remember I'm getting there yelling at the kids, and I'm like, front leading rest, and they're looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, get in the front leading rest, and they have no idea what I'm talking. And he's like, it's called push-ups out here. And I felt like I wasn't like, he's like, it's called push-ups out here. I'm like, well, I wasn't in prison, but you just get used to it, get ingrained into the vernacular, and the jargon, man. But yeah, after a while, I got it out of my system. But every time I run into a wrestler who served, we always talk about those things and stuff. And yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It was a pretty cool life for a while.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I had fun. I did one tour in Iraq in 11, but I mean, overall, it was fun. It was a great experience. But I get it. I still like, when I do any exercises in a group, I'm always like, oh, we're not doing this in cadence. I mean, they're just going, It's great stuff.
Side straddle hop. And
side straddle hop. Exercise 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Of course.
The thing is, I hear this from him when we're out there doing stuff, and he'll be like, "Oh, we're not going to do it 3 counts." I'm like, "All right, I'm out of here."
I mean, I guess the best thing though is I don't have to do those formation runs. That was probably the worst thing.
Oh man,
when you're having to run,
that was the worst.
You're just, and then if you ever had to get when we did our annual, the whole
War Eagle, like the War Eagle. We call it
the whole division run. And you're running with everybody. Yeah. It's just fun times, but there was still some stuff you're just like, oh well, I could have done without that.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
We got a big event this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. What do you think is what do you think are the important fundamentals for somebody who's just getting into training to be wrestlers? What do you think is important to teach your kids? What do you think your new students should do? What are some things that you'd like to share just about if somebody was out there wanting to become a pro wrestler?
I don't know if you guys ever heard that clip from when John Morrison was on the Stone Cold podcast, and he mentions me on there, and he's like, tells Stone Cold, he's like, well, he's like, the best advice Ugly ever gave me was, when you get to tough enough, shut the fuck up and act like you don't know anything. So Stone Cold's like, that's the greatest damn comment I ever heard. It's his voice. So to this day, that's what I tell people. Like, if you're a fucking new student, shut up and don't act like you know anything, because you don't. Mm-hmm. When people get into this business because they've been fans for so long, they think they have it figured out. And I'm like, no, you may have it figured out on like who main evented WrestleMania 11 or the trivia and the trivia part of this shit, or the history as far as what happens on TV. But the business of pro wrestling, unless you've been through it, you don't understand what it's like. And just like I tell people, man, like, I have such a different outlook on this business, because I don't like when people make jokes in the ring and do things like that, or when people outside the business use the way, like, talk like us, our kayfabe words and stuff. And people are always like, oh, but you can't let them. But I'm like, listen, man, I paid the price to learn this shit, to learn this fucking craft. I spent hours on the road training, fucking missing, fucking time with my wife, and going through injuries, and fucking spent money to just train, and my car breaking down on the fucking freeway, having to get a tow truck home because I was driving to Fresno by myself, and all the pain and the fucking money I've spent, and the injuries and the time I've lost, and the sleep I've lost, and the jobs I've had to leave because of pro wrestling, and people still around me thought it was a fucking joke, and people still to this day think, oh, that's all fake. I've went through all that, you know, and I would fucking do it again because this shit means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when people like, you know, like some of the fucking podcasters, like I don't even know some of their names, but they just try to like fucking they critique everything wrestlers do, and you know they shit on wrestlers, even if the wrestler's not good. There's some wrestlers on like Raw and stuff that aren't good, but you don't know what they've done to get there. It's like it's a
Mm-hmm.
fucking grind, man. It's like it's hard, you know, to do this. It's not easy. Yes, some people have had it easier than others, but it just really like just infuriates me when people critique, even if it's a small little, you know, what Jim Cornette calls a mud show. It's like, you know, those guys may not be fully trained, but they're farther than you made it, you know.
Yeah.
So just let them do what they're doing, you know. Like there's good and bad people in everything, you know. But I guess I just have a different love and passion for the sport, and I just hate when people try to act like they're in the business but haven't paid the price, you know, and haven't done what I've done and are going to critique like a Flacco Loco because
Mm-hmm.
he's an older guy. But I'm like, you know what? I know when I look across the ring from Flacco, when I look across the ring from Samurai, that I know what the fuck he's been through and what he's done
Mm-hmm.
to get there. I know that when we lock up, I can trust him. So I know he's paid the price. Other people just come in the back door and they're like trying to get in the business. And I'm like, you know, don't act like you know what we're doing here because you don't. You know, I had this, I got on this podcast with these, I was like 4 or 5 people who are the content creators, and they were all just shitting on WWE, AEW, and all these things like that. And I was like, guys, you don't understand how it is to run a company. Well,
Mm-hmm.
wait, that's not what this. And so the question I proposed to them was like, okay, each one of you name who should be the champion right now in WWE. They all named somebody different. I said, okay, so which one of you was fucking right?
Yeah.
And then they're just all sitting there. I said, this is what I'm talking about. When you book shows, you can't make everybody happy, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because there you can make a fan happy, but you can't make every fan happy. So everybody has a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And what I tell them is stuff goes into this business behind the scenes that you don't get. Maybe somebody's taking time off for a surgery, so they can't be the champ at that time. Maybe they're just a fucking nightmare to deal with. And you so they don't want to give them the belt, you know. There's different things that go into it, but when you're looking on the outside looking in, you don't understand those things, you
Yeah.
know. And so I just have I have a different like just a different passion on the business, you know, and the way it's handled, you know. Not to say that I'm not for having fun and doing stuff, and I'm against content creators. Believe me, I
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of good friends that do it. I'm on here with you guys, you know.
Yes.
But I just there's just some people that they just go take an opportunity to shit on somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, even like, for example, David Flair, who's probably the worst wrestler ever, and especially, you know, considering who his dad is,
Mm-hmm.
at least he went through some kind of training to
Yeah.
be that bad. You know, like we can say he's not a good athlete, but I mean, damn, he was in the spot that so many other people would give their lives to be in. But at least he paid the price to get there. You know, he did the training. He went to the power plant.
Exactly.
You know, may not have had to work as hard as everybody else, but he went through it. You know, so
Well,
and I tend to just kind of like, you know, just have a different outlook on the business, and different than most vets, because a lot of vets, you know, that I've ran into are all so stuck in their old ways. And I understand that we have to change the business, you know, but I still believe in, you know, I don't, not necessarily kayfabe, but that doesn't mean we have to give the shit away to people. You know,
no.
that we have to just open the curtain and let people back and say, oh, this is how the trick's done, you know. So I mean, that's just my thing on the
Yeah.
business. You know, I have issues with everything in the business. Don't get me wrong, but there's just a lot of people making more money than me doing this shit that, you know, are clowns in the ring. But there's a market for that, so I have to respect what they do. Orange
Yeah.
Cassidy, for example, I don't like nothing about his wrestling, but the dude's a
But
millionaire.
he's
You
he's
know,
getting
what the
over.
fuck could I? Yeah, like he's and there's always been guys like that who found a niche to get over,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't hate them for that, you know.
No.
So I don't like that style, but I can't hate on the guy for doing it. You know, I mean, the guy's a million.
Yeah.
He's a bigger star than I could ever be. You know, so he's done his business. You know.
Yeah. No. And before I say anything, you are getting some love in the chat. Bishop's here. He said hi, and I believe Ryan Ritchie has stopped by to say hi to you, Coach. So.
You.
But getting some love in there. But yeah, no, we try to remember that, you know, even though we may not agree with something and we may look at it as fans, and we always try to say, you know, this is our opinion. You can agree, you can debate us, you know, when it comes to these things, because we look at different things. But we always try to remember that the wrestlers, and they still deserve respect, even though we may not agree. I think a lot of wrestling these days has gotten away from, you know, the old way of like the storyline, everything's kind of like, oh, everybody knows what's going on, so let's just let everybody believe it. It's kind of like, but that's what I fell in love with wrestling. Wrestling gave me an opportunity to believe in something when I had, in a time in my life, I didn't really believe in much, but I could believe in wrestling. I could escape the world we were in through wrestling. So it was an amazing time.
Yeah.
And, you
Oh
know,
yeah, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I fucking hate some of this shit Jim Cornette says.
yeah,
I mean, I'm along a lot of the stuff he says I agree with, but sometimes he come up with some of the stupidest shit. I'm like, yeah, Jim, we're not in the '70s anymore.
yeah,
That that doesn't work anymore. You know, nobody's gonna believe, as good as the Midnight Express is, nobody's gonna believe they could beat up like the APA or anything.
yeah,
You know, it's like it's just not fucking. You know, yeah, they were great, some of the best workers ever, but that stuff just doesn't play now. Like psychology doesn't matter anymore because we've told people it's fake.
yeah,
So why do you give a shit about psychology when the people know? Well, his arm's really not hurt,
yeah,
or this really doesn't hurt. You know, I just, like I said, I try to teach the way I've always taught. For me, when I watch it, I'm highly entertained when I'm surprised or shocked at
yeah,
something. You know, I don't even give a shit about the fucking moves they're doing half the time. But if you swerve me on something, I'm like, holy shit, that was fucking good. You fucking got me. That's the kind of shit that I like, because I know, you know, we all know what's going on. But if you trick my mind, you know, I'm like, that just totally fucking gets me. Like, it just
yeah.
totally fucking gets me. And that's the kind of shit I'll stand up and applaud every time, you know?
And I think that's what's great and
That's you know,
why we started focusing on the world we are. Because I mean, originally we just started as a podcast. We were talking about WWE and AEW, and then doors opened for us. We got invited to his show, and then we got invited to SPW, and our whole direction is slowly kind of turned into just being very supportive of independent wrestling, because there's still something that, you know, you've got the big shows, they're great. You can go to big show, it's fun, but independent wrestling has something that's just different in its whole vibe. And it's still got
Yeah.
that fan base where you can be a complete stranger and walk in for your first time, and you're going to be welcomed in as a fan, and you're going to have a great time, and it's a great show. And we are just enjoying being a part of independent wrestling, because I mean, we just started as a podcast, and then we got welcomed in, and we try to stay completely humble and open, and like we've gone from just being a podcast to actually now working and helping SPW record their shows and trying to put them together. And it's been an amazing experience, and what's growing for us, and some other doors that are open that are really exciting for us that we haven't shared on air because there's a time and a place. But it's a real interesting journey. What can happen when you start knowing people and showing that, you know, you're here, you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you know, step up to it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, SPW is a great place. It always has been. You know, it's like I said, that's one of the few places that has always given me a home. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I took time off, they welcomed me back, and both times they welcomed me back, it was huge angles. It was, did a thing where I ended up working Marcus Lewis, and then
Mm,
this last time when I worked Samurai, you know, it was this huge. It's always a big thing. You know, they don't bring me in and just say, you're gonna do a battle royal. You know, it's always something
yeah,
big, because you know, my opinion, I think they know that my legacy in SPW is, you know, speaks for itself.
huge. Yeah,
So they always, you know, want to use me for stuff, and I'm more welcome. Hey, how can we make this the biggest show ever?
yeah,
You know, and that's how we just always been with each other. You know, they always welcome me back. So I love it. I love going there. I'm glad Bishop gets a chance to work there. Abigail and Titus didn't get to work there too much. They worked there a few times, but then they started going to Oregon a lot, and
mm-hmm.
it just conflicting dates. And you know, as many guys will tell you, when a booker flies you in, he gets you the cheapest flight, which is
Yeah,
usually the last flight home. So
yeah,
they come in late Sunday night home, you know, or Monday morning or something, you know. So they missed a lot of SPW shows. But yeah, it's I can't say enough good things about that company. I mean, I don't always agree with some of the stuff Samurai does, because I think he shortcuts himself a lot. I think he's always relied on, I don't say wrestling down, but not wrestling the top guys. He's like, because he doesn't like being that top guy. He wants
yeah,
to help people out, which I think's been a curse for the guy, you know, because he's one of my favorite guys to work. We always have great matches, you know. So I just always wish that he's similar to Scoot, where they're like, well, I don't want to be the champ or nothing like that. And I'm like, if you're the fucking guy, you're the guy. Just,
yeah,
you know, just don't think of it as people are what they're gonna say, or if you're the guy, you're the guy. That's as simple as that, you know.
yeah.
So I don't know. I think Samurai's always been overlooked and underrated, you know. But I definitely think that he's a really good. He's really top. Should be one of the top guys in the area,
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
I think there's a lot of talent in that company and around that we've started to notice. And of course, I think a lot of talent's going to, you know, SPW is really going to be a place that the spotlight's going to shine on this year, because I mean, April 27th it's going to be their big day, 25 years of SPW and one Supreme Night. I mean, that's going to be a special show. I'm sure you'll be there, because I mean, the lore and the history, you got to be there. I mean, that's
I try not to miss any anniversary shows. They're always off the hook. They're always great. You know, the last one I competed in was 2 years ago. And it was, once again, it was a great. I'm fuck Jacob Fatu was on that show, for God's sakes. You know, JR Kratos was in the audience watching. You know, so it's like it's always some good talent there, even if they're supporting. You know, and I hear Thatcher's coming back at the next month.
Yes, they just announced that.
Yeah,
they just announced.
I think he's wrestling. He's wrestling Jordan Oasis.
I'm assuming that's what they're building to. I don't know if that's a official. You know, but they did say that WWE ID Jordan Oasis is coming in and Timothy Thatcher is coming home. They've made that announcement together. I'm assuming possibly that's going to be the match, but I don't know. So I mean that's two good names there. I mean, Jordan Oasis being part of the WWE ID. We just saw on Sunday our boy Jack Summit, the cartwheel, come through and do that, and now we're going to get a little different taste. Jordan Oasis is going to be a big name, and Timothy Thatcher coming home. Going to be incredible on the 19th of January when SPW brings you Loyalty. Can't wait to see that show come together. That's going to be awesome stuff. And
Jordan works for me at Lucha Extreme.
Okay.
And actually, the day before, we're going to be in Florida at a Taco Fest in Florida, and then we're flying back for that show, for the SPW show. So I'll probably be the one bringing them from the airport, because I think we're on the same flight. I'm not sure. Again, when promoters book stuff, it's kind of like, what's the cheapest way to get you there? And sometimes they'll get you 9 hours later if it'll save them $3, you know. So so it's just the way it is. But yeah, so I'm really excited. Either way, both of those guys at that company is not going to do nothing but elevate it, you know, with the talent they already have. You know, they have. I was talking to my students last night about this. Like, they have so much talent that their students don't even get matches a lot because they just don't have room. You know, when you have, you know, Boyce Legrand's and the Appeal and, you know, Dante and freaking Chima and, you know, all the other guys they have, Guapo and just Marcus and Boyce, like just all these guys they have on their roster. Like, man, as a young kid, it's kind of like, shit, how do I get a match on here? And other than having 13 matches on the card, you know, they have to, you know, just be ready for wait for their spot and their turn. You know, ADK is getting it now. So
and that I was just going to go there. I was going to say that, well, there are the two young talents. I mean, these kids are definitely going to be a bright future within the tag team division, and hopefully as they venture on, probably in their singles career. But Aiden Andrew, Bryce Kuza, known right now as the All Day Crew. I mean, there's hunger, there's desire there. They're good kids. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. But yeah, I mean, they're getting on the cards now. You know, they made their debut back in October officially with SPW. So we've really been enjoying watching them in our own right, because we came in officially around Lemonade. I think that was July-ish that we got to start working with SPW. So we've been around a little bit, and to see them come up, it's been really awesome. Mr. Z, I think you had a question. Go ahead.
Not much of a question. I'm enjoying. I'm like the third wheel here, guys. I'm just enjoying the conversation. But no, yeah, like you're saying, like a lot of young kids out there that are hungry, like the All Day Crew, doing what they're doing. I mean, putting on possibly the best singles matches they put on this past Sunday. It's just such a bright future from everyone that has come through the halls of SPW as of late. I mean,
yeah, I was
go ahead.
I was planning my retirement 2 years ago because I just had so many injuries. And I was planning this show, and I put a Facebook post on. I'm like, hey, if you've ever trained with me, message me, because I have an idea. So I was going to do one big show with all my students. Then I was like, holy shit, and I was just thinking, like, running through, going, man, I've had Chupi, Virgil's, you know, Hayashi, Samurai, Drake, fucking Christina Von Airy, Brittany, and just, you know, all my kids, of course, and there's the new kids coming up, and I was just going off into these guys that people around here have never even heard of because they haven't wrestled around here in a while. But I was just looking at this list, going, man, I got Thatcher, John Morrison, Kratos. I was just like, holy shit, that's like an all-star show. for
Mm-hmm.
NorCal. But it's just like thinking of that, and then you add in, Jack and all those guys that have came through since I had left. Joe Del Sol was one of those guys that came through after I had left, and just a Johnny Plinka was one of my guys as well. Just like the people that came through SPW is like a who's who of wrestling in NorCal, and that's one thing that they're going to continue to do because they just got a lot of talent there, and I mean even not even considering their students, just the guys that are part of the program are just phenomenal. It's great. That's why I say I love going to those shows because there's always one or two matches that surprise me. Because I'm not really familiar with one of the kids, so
Yes.
they're just really good. They got a really good thing going on there.
All right. So Saturday, the big show, Vacaville. It's at the community center. Name's blanking me. I'm sure you can tell us.
Three Oaks Community Center. Yeah,
There
Three
you
Oaks
go.
Community Center, 1100 Alamo Drive, Vacaville.
There you go. The Value Wrestling's going to be there. A lot of names. I mean, if I say the Obsidian Adonis Illumide, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that name alone is worth the price to just get in the door. That's one. But I mean, when you throw in the names like El Chupacabra, which we all love to call Chupi. Chupi is so great. We love Chupi. Drake Frost, and on down the card. There is so much talent here. Come on out, support local independent wrestling this Saturday. It's going to be a great show in Vacaville. It's going to be a fun time. We know it. And this is going to be our first opportunity to be part of the Ugly Dojo. So it's going to be a lot of fun for us, a different experience, and we love growing and developing. So come on out, join us, and join in the fun. I'm sure it's going to be a great Saturday night right before Christmas. Bring the family. Make it if you need to, come out for the day. Get a nice breakfast, come out to the show in the evening there, and you won't be disappointed. That is for sure.
Definitely, it's a great venue. You're gonna have some real good talent. Some people probably never seen before. Like I said, my 3 students debuting along with my other class that debuted 6-7 months ago. So one of the other matches that I'm really looking forward to is Bishop versus Bob, Bob the Metal
Oh
Mechanic
yeah.
from SW. Yeah, so I've liked Bob. I've always used Bob for a lot of years. He's definitely one of those guys that he just adds to your show. I
Yeah.
like Bob a lot. And of course, putting him in there with my son. My son's going to learn, so I'm really excited for that one. I'm excited for every match,
Yeah.
and then of course my students. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are going to be able to be there and check it out and experience just how we do things. And like I said, like we talked earlier, we'll cue you in before on all the information on the young guys coming out, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
No, it's going to be great.
Oh,
And we love
definitely.
growing and developing and meeting and learning different ways and just being humbled to be welcomed into all these stores and meet all these wonderful people. But yeah, it's going to be great. And going back to Bobby Callahan, the Metal Mechanic, an amazing match
Yes.
on Sunday. I mean, words are really hard to say. If you miss this show on Sunday, Hostile Holiday, you missed something special. When Bobby Callahan took on Illumide one more time for that SPW title. That match was off the chain. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But yeah, Bobby Callahan, I think, doesn't sometimes get the credit and love for just how good he is.
Yeah, one thing I want to say about that Illuminate. Okay, I've known Illuminate for a lot of years. I've been trying to get him on my shows, and I went to a show from a newer company in the Bay Area. It was about, I don't know, it was like last year. I just got done I was at the AEW show the night before watching Titus wrestle on AEW, and then drove him to the airport to go to Japan. Next night, I go up to this company in the Bay Area, and all the boys run up to me and they're talking blah 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 blah. So then, as it gets closer to the doors, the promoter says, "Hey, can you go outside?" And I'm like, I've never been asked that at a show to go outside before the fucking doors open. So I'm like, yeah, I guess. So I go outside. And I'm not saying I'm this fucking huge star or anything like that, but it's just you generally don't ask other promoters to leave your building. You kind of welcome them in. So I go outside and I'm just like, this motherfucker, like, just kicked me out. It's gonna make me pay to get in this fucking show. So I walk around, I look over, and I see fucking Illuminate. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing out here? He's like, yeah, he told me to come out too. And I was like, you're fucking better than everybody on that roster except for Fred Roser. I go, what the fuck are you doing out here? And then we just kind of laughed and bullshitted. It was a good chance for us to catch up because I hadn't seen him in a while. So we just laughed and bullshitted. And I remember telling him, I was like, dude, you should be on every show in fucking NorCal. You're like easily next to like Titus, Vinny, and Starboy and Zoe. You're like the top guy. You're one of the best fucking wrestlers we have in the area. And he's Illuminate. So I don't want to tell you what his answer is and ruin the mystique, but
Yes.
I don't think he really understood like how good he is and how good he's going to be, and I'm glad he's finally getting that recognition because the fucking kid's good. He
Oh
has a
yes.
great look, great skill set. He can talk, so when I was started booking him, the first guy I think I put him with was Titus, and he worked Titus on our show. Fucking match was great, he definitely, in his mind, he felt like, Titus is where he is for a reason. But I was like, dude, you should be in Japan too. Like, so I'm glad he's finally realizing how fucking good he is, because he's fucking good,
Oh
and
yeah.
I don't think he'll be here for a lot longer. I think he'll be on to bigger and better things, which is good and bad, because I like the guy and I like the way he works. But if he gets makes a living doing this, fuck, get out of here, So yeah, I just want to say that Illuminati is definitely one of those overlooked guys, and is I mean, and Jason Xavier is also a highly
Yeah.
underrated wrestler too. But and then also I got to put in my boy Surza. Surza's one of those guys too that's I always think was highly underrated. And whenever I put those guys in matches, they always deliver. I just hope that NorCal takes notice of that, and not only books these guys, but fucking pays them what they're worth. I mean, not me, because I don't pay shit, but everybody else, pay these guys what they're worth. But I'm glad you guys are here to help get their name out there and our NorCal's talent out there, because a lot of people don't have eyes down here, and they have eyes on certain people and certain products, but not the plethora of NorCal wrestling. So I'm glad somebody's out there able to get it out there and to the masses. And I know my friends in Oregon will be watching the show to see what's going on down here, because they're highly invested in what's going on down here, as some of us are up there. So I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing your product, because this is, I think, going to be really good for the NorCal scene.
No, and that's, I mean, we started podcasting, but when we got into these independent companies, I'm like, we need to be doing this. We need to make independent wrestling great again. We need to get people in these places and see these talents. And we've seen the praises of Illumide till the end of the earth. And I mean, Mr. Z has said exactly what you said. This man isn't going to be here much longer. If you do not come out and see this man, your opportunity to see him at this level may be gone. Yes, you may see him on TV, but the opportunity to get up close, meet him, and get to know him, there is something about him that is special. He's got the talent. We're big supporters. If WWE's watching, this man needs to get an ID. He needs to be under their radar. Why Tony Khan hasn't brought him in to be on Ring of Honor full time, because he's been on AEW shows. I don't know, but this man is the future of wrestling. If he gets to Japan, I know Mr. Z is going to be excited to watch him over there in Japan.
Please.
But our thing is just, we're trying to tell these guys, we want to give you this platform. This is what I made this show up exactly for this. Illumide took us up on it. We're glad he came on the channel. We're happy we're glad that you gave us time tonight to come on the channel, but we're trying to tell these guys, hey, reach out to us, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's an hour, whether it's whatever. Come out, tell us what you're doing. Tell these people where they can see you, why they need to come out and see you. And we want to put out, we want to work with every company that's willing to give us an opportunity to say, hey, you want to find wrestling this weekend? Here's where you can go. You can make almost a weekend of it, and we can't be more than grateful for everything SPW's done for us. And we're happy to be working really deep with them and doing some great things with them. But we're open to working with anybody who will give us an opportunity to come in and do something for them, whatever that may be. But we just, we've really shifted. We're like, we want to talk about independent wrestling because it's a niche in the world right now that's being missed. There are some content creators that might work with the independent company, but I don't really see them doing the promotion or bringing on their stars onto these platforms and getting the stars of tomorrow, today out there, and even bringing out some of the old stars. Because, I mean, the great thing about SPW, we get to sit in a venue each and every time and see one of the great legends of ECW. And, of course, I go far back. It's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I mean, you really get some good stuff if you go back and watch that. But, I mean, getting to see Mustafa Saeed is worth a ticket, just to see this man still doing it and doing it as great as he is and having fun. So, I mean, we definitely appreciate it.
A little known fact that not a lot of people know is that SPW was the first place where the gangsters reunited. We were using Mustafa on our shows, right? And at this time, I was working up in Portland, and New Jack was up there a lot. So I came back down home. We were getting a show ready, and then two of the guys that were coming up to wrestle, gave him my number, and he calls me like, "Hey, I want to come down to your show." And I'm like, "Jack, our show's Saturday or Sunday, bro. Like, I can't afford to pay you to wrestle." Like, and then, none of my guys wanted to work him. Like, he'd have to work me because everybody else didn't want to work him because he's
Yeah.
fucking New Jack, So he was like, "I just want to come up and sell my book." And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And so he came up and he's sitting there, and Luster the Legend from Reno Scum,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Hey, I'm going to call Jamal." And I'm like, or I'm sorry, Mustafa. And I'm like, "No, dude, don't, because they have heat. Like, there's fucking legit heat between those guys. I'm gonna call him and tell him he's here." And I'm like, "Oh fuck!" So I remember we're just all waiting, like standing by the stage, waiting to see. And then someone's like, "Dude, he's here, he's here." And we're like, "Oh fuck, dude, we're just waiting to see this fucking fight." And Mustafa walks in, looks over, and then Jack's like, "What's up, man?" And then they just went and hugged and had this fucking whole big old thing. And we are just like, these fuckers worked that world. Like, everybody thought they wanted to kill each other, like everybody got worked, and so they talked and just hung out and stuff. And Jack asked me, he's like, "Hey, is there any way I can do something with Mustafa?" And we're doing the shows in the church, so I'm like, "Heck, Mustafa, if Jack goes out there and gets on the mic, we're done. Like, we're out of here, bro." And so I'm just sitting there like, "Yeah, when end of Mustafa's match, run out and help the guys that are beat him up, help him." And blah blah. I said, "Yeah, I cut your promo." So, and he's like, "Yeah, we're in a church, right?" And I was just like, "Does it matter?" Like, "Does it matter, Jack?" So he just gets on the mic. "What the fuck's up, motherfucker?" I was like, "Ugh." So I tell the ushers, "Hey, go out there and start ECW chant." Go out there and start ECW, and kind of drown them out. But Jack did his thing, and then like a month later, somebody in LA booked the reuniting or reuniting the gangsters, and they stole our heat. But that they was at SPW when they first reunited. It was just on a whim like that, because I knew Jack from Portland, and then Luster was, he Staffa helped them run their school in Reno. So it just happened on a whim. But yeah, everybody was there. Was just like, "Holy shit, this is crazy," And I said there was enough people there to remember what happened to verify the story. But we don't ever get any credit for that, for like one of the biggest team ups again in a long time. But it happened at SPW show.
That is awesome. Anyways, I don't know if you're ready to go, if you'd like to hang out. We're going to talk about the SPW show. You're welcome to hang out with us and talk about it from your viewpoint if you want. If not, we can, you can tell people, I don't know. Do you want to stay and talk about SPW?
No, I actually got to go to work tonight. I work overnight, so.
All right.
But no, yeah, please come 1100 Alamo Drive, Vacaville, California, on Saturday. We open the doors at 6 for our special. We have 2 special needs programs that come in, and we do a little something special for them.
Nice.
For them, and then 6:30 is the regular doors for regular fans, and 7 o'clock bell time. We have 9 matches tonight, as opposed to our normal 8. Okay. But there'll be 9 definitely great matches. We have one of the SPWs our show against one of my guys, Travis Alexander. So that'll be a good show, a good match.
Yes. So come out to Vacaville on Saturday. It'll be a fun time. That's this Saturday. Also, you can look in the description below. You can find Ugly Dojo on Facebook. The link's there. And Ugly Dojo has their own YouTube channel where you can follow what's going on with Ugly Dojo, with vlogs and stuff, keeping you up to date there. And, of course, we have one more thing before we let you go, sir. My big man here, Mr. Z, we started something as a total joke. Something that, hey, you know how this goes. Matt Cardona came to Stockton Con this last summer, and we started this thing called the Choppy Choppy World Tour, and Matt Cardona stepped up to it, chopped our big man. Chima stepped up and done it. We've had AJ Kirsch, our good buddy AJ Kirsch, we always love it, and has been a big supporter of the channel. Even Choopy's a part of it. I was wondering if there was some time on Saturday. It doesn't necessarily need to happen at the show, after, before, whenever we get a chance. But would you like to join the Choppy Choppy Hall of Fame? All you have to do is just simply chop our big man. Just give him a nice chop. This is just kind of a gimmick that we started running and have been having fun. And we try to get everybody that wants to do it to sign up and take a shot.
Sure.
All right.
Privilege.
Okay. There we go.
Thank
Well,
you so much.
You'll be joining the list, like I said. I mean, Matt Cardona started it. Chima, Chima's the one that really took him down. And then we've had AJ Kirsch, Choopy did it for us. Jack Cartwheel, Jack Summit recently, and so we're always just trying to grow that list. And we'd be more than happy to have you join that. So we'll set up something for that on Saturday. We'll talk more then about when and where, and we'll get that all done. But thank you for joining us. We appreciate
No,
your
thanks for
time out of
having
your
me.
busy
So
day.
much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Saturday, Vacaville, Ugly JoJo show. Come out and join us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Big Ugly himself, JD Bishop. Sir, we can't wait to see you on
Thank you.
Saturday.
Appreciate it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a show. What a fun show it's going to be on a
Yes.
Sunday. Let me adjust a couple things here so we can get you back into
You got to fix me.
Yes, no, it's somewhere off on everything. Give me a second here. But go ahead, Mr. Z. How are you feeling? Are you excited about that now? Another name to add to the
Well,
choppy.
I am excited, but you know, it's not so much of who. It's not so much of getting chopped. It's who's doing the chopping is what matters most. And someone like a big ugly is worthy of being on that list.
No, I mean that's somebody you've got to take the opportunities while you can, while the iron's hot, and that's a name that is going to be special. That'll go down into the Choppy Hall of Fame history for a long time to come. I mean, that's just you talk about the names that have joined that list. Matt Cardona on a whim, and then Chupi AJ.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some great names, and
Yeah.
it's just very, very awesome. That he's gonna join that list.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There we go. I think you're back. Let's just get us back into our pretty. There we go. Anyways, yeah, no, it was a great pleasure to have the Big Ugly on the channel, talk about independent wrestling, talk about so much history. Hopefully, we could do that sometime again in the future. That we can sit down and talk to him some more.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a great conversation. It's great having him on the channel. It'll be an awesome show this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, no, it was it's going to be a great show. That's Saturday. Vacaville, the Three Rivers Community Center, if I remember that correctly. My brain is blanking.
Yes.
But yeah, come out. Come out. It's going to be a great show. Let's talk about Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, we recorded Sunday. We are piecing all that together, and very soon that's going to be up, and that's going to be up on the SPW channel. That great video. Oh, I got to do this transition, so we're not. There we go. Now we're looking right. We're looking right now. But yeah, so that'll be up. So if you weren't able to come out and attend the show, it'll be up on the SPW YouTube channels. Hopefully soon, sometime. Hopefully at the beginning of next week. Just a lot of work to get all these things together and make it work, but we are getting there, and we are so excited to share that with the world. But man, you don't want spoilers, you need to leave now, come back and watch that later. But man, we opened also Holiday with a damn good, exciting match. A King of the Jungle match. They took the ropes off the ring. You called it like blood sport. It was like Raw Underground.
Mm-hmm.
Weapons everywhere. Chima and Dante daring. Started the show off hot, got the crowd revved up. It was the most fun. I mean, it was exciting. I mean, what can you say? I mean, good gosh.
It's the look of Dante Daring when he came out. He looked like a madman.
Yes.
Like he had a plan going into this match. And Dan, if he didn't take it to the limit, just wow. He looked like a man that had a few screws loose going into this one.
Well, and if the screws were loose, Chima knocked them all the way loose after it was all said and done. Dropping Dante Daring with a massive greatest world slam, I guess it would be the best way to put it, right through a TV. Right into a TV. I mean, I don't know what you say. Chima came out and proved that he is truly the king of the jungle, the Punjabi lion. Our boy, who we love very much. We love Chima. Always good to see Chima. We love you, Chima. Of course,
yes, definitely. None but respect for Chima.
The next match started off with a little hostility. As they were trying to get the ropes back up, Boyce Grand got tired of waiting in the back and decided to come out and give a hard time to the ring crew, chewing them up and down because they were taking forever. Eventually, his opponent and one half of the amazing tag team for SPW. This young group, these young men are going to be something special, people. When we talk about ADK or the all-day crew, you need to pay attention. But Bryce Kuza came out with Aiden Andrews, and they had a confrontation with Boyster Grand. Finally, the ring got set up, and Boyster Grand and Bryce Kuza gave us a solid back-and-forth match. Bryce Kuza almost pulling out the victory a couple of times in this match, but unfortunately, in the end, Boyster Grand getting the big win. But what a solid match. The bad boy, Boyster Grand, showing how the bad boy does it. Always a great time to see Boyster Grand when he's on a card. When he's at SPW, you're never going to see something special. But, I mean, this was a good, solid match.
Yeah, I think the first time we ever seen Boyce LeGrand was Stockton Con. This is before we started working with SPW. So I mean, we got a taste of what he does, and now that we've been around as long as we have and seen this man, it's just that's where experience comes in. So we're age versus experience. Experience does win in this case.
Yeah, and hopefully maybe one day the boys of All Day Crew, Bryce Kuza, Aiden Andrew, will get to come on the Independent Wrestling Community Podcast. Maybe they'll join us someday, and we can learn a little more about ADK, because that'd be a great conversation. So, boys, if you're listening, hit us up. We'd love to get you right here on this podcast one day. Next up was the Trios Tag Titles, and what was, or the SPW Tag Titles, in a barn burner last month at Still Hungry. Mustafa Saeed, Wildfire, Chris Blaze, and Patrick Fitzpatrick got the big win, winning the titles, beating the Honor Society of Drake Frost, Eliza Hammer, and Sure Samurai. And this month they had to defend these titles not just only against the Honor Society, but the appeal of Nathan Brick, Jason Xavier, and Jack Tracy. And the appeal came out first. The Honor Society came out. And before the champs could even make it to the ring, all hell broke loose. And this match went everywhere. This match was on all sides of the rings at different times. Most of this match was fought outside the ring than inside the ring. This was all over the place. Big moments, big bounces. Always an honor to see Mustafa Saeed out here beating people up, throwing people around. It was incredible. Eliza Hammer running around the ring at full pace, doing her best, I guess, warrior impression. Great stuff. Sir Samurai taking a bump off the bleachers into the first, second, and third row. I mean, this match was the hardest thing to follow, and then putting video together for this after having to go back and watch it, you don't know. You didn't know who to follow. It was just all over the place. Everybody got beaten up. But in the end, Eliza Hammer, I believe, wound up in the ring. Jason Xavier coming off the top rope and taking her out, pulling Jack Tracy on top of her. And Jack Tracy and Jason Xavier get the pin, get the 1, 2, 3, and we crown new champions. The Appeal are your tag team champions. And ladies and gentlemen, the Appeal at this point in time, we're holding all the gold. Will they hold all the gold by the end of the night? We're going to talk about it, but man, what a trios match this turned out to be. The action was everywhere. It was a hard match to stay focused on. The Appeal gave us some great video after the match, so make sure you're tuning into the show when we put it all together. We're going to let you know so you can catch up on all the stuff, or check out the social medias. I know Mr. Z shared it all out, but I mean, good God.
It's just, that whole match in a general was a giant car wreck. And we kind of figured that's what was going to happen from Jump Street. So, I mean, Sir Samurai, man, I'm telling you, that man, you've heard it. You've heard it from Big Ugly. That dude's a machine, period. The way he could still go. Well, so I really enjoyed it.
Being a little privileged, and I'm not going to sell any secrets, but I've heard a couple of crazy ideas this man has, and I'm just like, you want to do what? With a what? And a who? So, I mean, 2025 might be a year Sir Samurai pulls out some other magic out of his back. You think coming off the top of the bleachers is something? I mean, I can't wait to see what is to come in the future.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, after that match, you would think, okay, everybody would be worn out and tired, but no, we got right into the WWE ID Cartwheel Jack Summit, taking on Guadalupe. And everybody was doing cartwheels. Even the referee Abraham got in on the action of cartwheeling in the middle of the ring before this match started. And then these two guys deliver solid stuff. Our boy Jack Summit, who we love and is so dear to us, and of course Guapo, who cannot love Guapo. If you come out and see Guapo in action, you're gonna fall in love with this man. You're gonna be a Guapo fan for life. Period. But I mean, this was a solid, great match. These two young studs all over the place, tearing down the house. Luckily we went into a brief intermission after this because everybody would have been worn out if you had to keep going. Because I mean, you had the triple threat, and then this match, which was just crazy. The cartwheel, of course, getting the big win. Jack Summit getting the big win over Guapo. But handshake and love, a show of respect at the end of the match. This was solid.
No, and this is why we tell you people, you got to come out to these shows. You got guys like, Jack Summit, he might not be around much longer, but you got guys like Guapo Lupe. It's just an insanely gifted talent, and just the fans love him. So he brings such a great feeling out of the fans when you watch this man wrestle. But the match overall was so fast paced. I mean, you really can't call it. You just kind of just in awe of watching what's going on.
Yes. Of course, we went to intermission and we didn't know anything, but we knew the SPW president, Mr. Mike Miller, was in the building for the night. We had seen him. We had talked to him because, he is the president and he knows everything that's going on and has his hands on everything that goes on at SPW. Nothing happens in SPW he doesn't know about, and we thank him very much for allowing us to be a part of SPW. You definitely don't want to get on the wrong side of this man, and I will try to keep some of my thoughts PG at the moment.
No,
well, I know he's the president and he's the boss, but I don't get why he felt the need to come out with security and escort Lucha Santa off the property. Yes, Lucha Santa was there last night giving out gifts to the kids, the boys and girls, in attendance last night, and for whatever reason, Mr. Miller, the presidente, came out and had him just thrown out of the building. Mr. Miller says he has some plans for 2025 to make SPW bigger, better, and better. But I don't know if this is the right track. But I'm not the president. I'm just part of the production team. I am going to stay in my lane. I'm working commentating, production,
Yes.
in the end that I work in, and he's the boss, and at the end of the day, he's the one we have to answer to.
Well, yeah, and then Lucha Santa. I mean, we don't know what he did to get on Mr. Miller's bad side, so
we don't know what he did to get on Mr. Miller's naughty list. No, I just know I don't want to be on his naughty llist. I don't think you want to be on his naughty list.
No.
So,
no.
Mr. President Mike Miller, we thank you. We come to you humbly. But you felt you needed to throw out Lucha Santa. I don't understand it. I wasn't informed, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
Next match.
Exactly.
What a great match this turned out to be. A solid little match here. Our boy Scoot Robertson getting a lot of love last night. And, Scooted coming out. And he's coming all the way from Davenport, Iowa, out of Seth Rollins Training Academy out there in Davenport. One Mason Grayskull. I'll stay away from my He-Man comments for tonight.
Yeah, please do.
Grayskull, I don't know. We don't want to show our age anymore. But a match here that went down. Scoot picking up the big win in the end over the man who had traveled halfway across the country. I don't know if that jet lag had caught up to Mr. Mason Grayskull, but I mean, it was definitely a good match. And we get to see a young talent coming from out of state to come into SPW and show what he has. And of course, anybody that comes out of the, Seth Rollins Training School that's out here, it's definitely a step in the right connection, making those connections, making people know that SPW exists. And, that's one way to do it. When you bring talent from the outside, bring them out here and let them see. And so, definitely going to be something special there.
Definitely go. Go back, but when you go back home, tell everyone else there's some noise happening out here. You might want to jump on in the water.
Yeah, Mason, if you, Mr. Grayskull, if you want to get some love from the Value Wrestling, make sure you're teaching and preaching Supreme Pro Wrestling back in Iowa and telling them that if you're in California, the place to be is Supreme Pro Wrestling, period. No doubt about it. After that, the Flying Lion Marcus Lewis tied it up with the other member of the all-day crew, ADK's very own Aiden Andrew. And what a match this turned out to be. Aiden Andrew giving all the heart, putting it all on the line, almost getting out of there with a big victory. But unfortunately, the Flying Lion hitting that big top rope move, coming down on Aiden Andrew and getting that 1, 2, 3. In the end, Marcus Lewis and Aiden Andrew showing love and respect, getting the handshake in the end. It's sad to see the all-day crew have come up a little short for the last 3 months, debuting back at Ghouls, Frights, and Wrestling, tied to the tag team, having a great match, and then against the Honor Society, coming within inches of winning, and then coming out here and last month at Still Hungry, came up short. This month, House of Holidays, both the Young Bucks. And these not the Young Bucks as Matt and Nick Jackson. I'm calling these boys Young Bucks as they are Young Bucks. Bryce Kusa and Aiden Andrews. These are gonna be the boys of the future. Unfortunately, they haven't figured out that last little piece of the puzzle. But I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get ready because 2025 is going to be the year of the all-day crew. That is my opinion. I'm just going to seal the deal right here and say I think these boys are right there. They're on the cusp of figuring out that last piece of the puzzle. I think there's something special in both these young men, and I think 2025 will definitely be the year that the all-day crew are going to live up to to that potential. There is a lot of love in these arenas when the all-day crew come out. That ADK chant is loud all day.
Oh, yeah.
All day. I mean, it is. You're going to hear it when you watch this video back. All day is loved. And I just can't wait to see these boys find that step, find that piece. I think 2025 is definitely going to be a year that you need to be watching out for what the all-day crew are going to do, because there's something special about these two young men. And, what they got, what looks like a new start. 2024 didn't go all the way they planned it. But 2025, boys, it's a fresh start.
Exactly.
It's time to bring it, and I think they have it. They just got to get over that last little hurdle, that last little piece. And I'm sure once they finally get that big W in their back, once they finally get that big win and realize that they can do it and put that belief in themselves. I mean, I'm not saying they doubt themselves, but I know it's got to be hard to go out there and take 3 L's. And this is not putting them down. These boys are talented. They just have gone against some great talent.
No.
I mean, the Honor Society on one end, and now, I mean, they're fighting Boyce LeGrand and the Flying Lion Marcus Lewis. This is top tier talent. They're not getting in the ring with just nobodies. So I mean, it's not that they're losing, not for giving the effort. I mean, they have been fingertips away. But I think 2025, once they get that first big W behind them, the sky's the limit. I mean, once that W comes and they put that rocket ship on their back, these are going to be the boys to be watching in 2025.
That big win they get will put the tag team division on notice. Because now that tag team division is pretty steep, and it can shake it up real big once they get that big W.
Putting that W on their back, getting that first big win, getting that first big moment, won't only put the tag team division on notice, it's going to put all of Supreme Pro Wrestling on notice. SPW is going to realize that the all-day crew have arrived, and I can't wait to see these boys arrive. I mean, they're here, and I see something special in them. Mr. Z sees them. We know what these boys are capable of. We're just waiting for that moment to really click. From there, our other boy, one of our other favorites, the Extreme Champion, the SPW Extreme Champion, Daniel Torch, went one-on-one with Truex. And there was not a lot of love for Truex, as he's the side piece. We don't know if it was a side piece with biscuits and gravy, was it a side piece with some mashed potatoes, was it a 2-piece, a 3-piece meal? But Truex coming out as a side piece, and the fans were giving him a lot of grief last night. And of course, our boy Daniel Torchy, as we love to call him, coming out and just lighting this place on fire. These two men brought a great, solid match. In the end, Daniel Torch getting the big win, retaining his title that he won back at Still Hungry. Finally, overcoming Jack Tracy, and this month retaining that title against the great challenger in Truex.
Yeah, no, as the jokes were, side piece, we don't know what a side piece of, but Truex, another great competitor, took Daniel Torch to the limits that he can get him to. But Torchy right now has a lot of momentum on his side, so he's gonna roll in some wins moving on.
Yeah, Truex just made me hungry. I wanted to go down to KFC or Church's or somewhere and get me a couple pieces of chicken, side of mashed potatoes and gravy, nice biscuit. Of course, Church's is better because they have that honey biscuit. You know, oh, good God. I want some good chicken, but man, I'm sorry. They called it
ain't there churches down the street?
Yeah, down the street from you. It's across town for me. But yeah, there's a great Church's right there. Some good stuff. But yeah, Truex just they kept screaming side piece, and I was just like, man, all I'm thinking about is food now. Okay, we've been here for a minute. It's getting a little bit late. I'm a little bit hungry. But you know what? I was glad to stick around because the main event took down the house, took the level to a new dimension. I mean, we didn't know we were going to see what we're going to see when this match started, but when that bell rang, it went to a whole different level. Ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the evening, SPW's undefeated, reigning, defending heavyweight champion, the Obsidian Adonis, Illumide, once again won one-on-one with the metal mechanic, Bobby Callahan. Bobby Callahan came out first, got in the ring, and took it to Illumide, kept up the pace. Of course, before this match even started, referee Nick, if I'm correct, was the referee in the ring, and Illumide was not having none of that. Told him to kick rocks, get out of his ring.
Oh, yeah.
Illumide did not like the referee, kicked the referee out of the ring. Referee Abraham came down and filled in, and the match went off. And it was insane. It was in the ring, out of the ring. Illumide doing Illumide things. Not much love in the audience for Illumide. There's a small group that is the that is there in support. But he had a lot to say through this match. You're going to have to watch all this stuff. If you weren't there, you missed it. Eventually, unfortunately, in a maneuver where Illumide was down in the corner and Bobby went in the charge, Illumide looked like he may have pulled Ref Abraham into the line of fire, putting him down and making him out. We thought that something was funky then. Jack Tracy tried to come out, but Bobby Callahan made quick work of Jack Tracy, jumped him out. But then Illumide tried to capitalize, went for a big bicycle kick. Bobby dunked out of the way, and Ref Abraham takes another nasty bump, taking the big boot from Illumide to the face. And unfortunately, that put him out of action momentarily. Illumide eventually getting on top, going for the 1, 2, 3. When Ref Nick came back in and counted the 1, 2. And then when Illumide understood who had just counted the bad 2, wasn't there in time, and looked over and noticed that our boy Ref there did not survive very well. Illumide quickly took him out of action, putting him up into the Death Valley driver, the AA. I don't know exactly. We've got to figure out what Illumide calls that. Put him down. And so that was the second referee went out, and this allowed the rest of the appeal, Jason Xavier, Nathan Brick, to come down. Illumide and Bobby Callahan fighting on the outside. When it went to an indifferent level, Illumide said, tear that ring apart, and his boys started tearing the ring apart. And I mean literally tearing up the ring. They were tearing off the ring aprons. They were tearing up the mats. They were tearing up it all, leaving the ring to the bare wood. And if you weren't there to see this, I promise you, when we get it up on the SPW YouTube channel, you're going to want to turn in just for this match, because Illumide dropped Bobby Callahan with that maneuver, that Death Valley drop. I don't know what they exactly call that. I've got to look that up. The AA maneuver dropped Bobby Callahan on that hard wood. And boy,
Yeah.
that I don't even know how Bobby Callahan got up and walked out of the ring last night. I don't even know how he's going to be ready to wrestle on Saturday now against a young Bishop Dorian, now that we know that's going down. I mean, Bobby Callahan, the mental mechanic, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's underrated because this is a man that's getting ready after getting dropped on the wood of the ring, the hard wood. This is the hard wood.
Yes.
When you hear those rings and you hear
It's
that thump,
plank
thump,
oak.
thump, that is plank wood. And we're talking thick. We're not talking little thin pieces of plywood. This is like 2x4 boards across the ring, and there is no give in that plank. And Bobby Callahan got dropped right on it. And boy, oh boy, it was something to be amazed. And this was a match that was incredible. But at the end of the night, the appeal stand with all the gold, the SPW Heavyweight Championship, the tag titles. They have all the gold. The appeal looking more like the Four Horsemen than last week when we were talking about this. I mean, some people may not agree with me, but I mean, if you're looking at an elite group, if you're looking at four people who have come together and created a faction as stable like this, there's not many names that are going to come to mind. I mean, this is evolution in SPW. This is the Four Horsemen in SPW. All I could say is, Mr. Illumine, if you need a I could see his face, but his name is not coming to mind. The manager for the Four Horsemen, former AWA champion, Nick Bockwinkel. If you need not Nick Bockwinkel, was it Nick Bockwinkel?
No. James J. Dillon.
Yeah, J.J. Dillon. Excuse me, I don't think he was an AWA champion. But if you need a J.J. Dillon, I offer my services to, assist in making sure the managerial duties of the appeal are taken care of. I definitely love to be, in some way, Vanity. We love the champ. I mean, who's to say it wouldn't be wrong to add a little managerial to take care of the things they don't, I'd love to take that weight off your back, champ. Let me help you out. Anything's possible. Then after this was all said and done, it looked like the champ and the boys were leaving, but Bobby Callahan decided to stand up, and this pissed off the champ more. They rushed the ring, beat him down some more, until Chima and the boys of the all-day crew, Aiden Andrew, Bryce Cusa, came out to chase off the appeal, the back and forth, and then the gauntlet was thrown down, and the gauntlet was accepted. We know now on January 19th at SPW Loyalty at the World Soccer Indoor Arena in Elk Grove, California, we are going to get a match that's going to be something special. It's going to be an 8-man tag when Bobby Callahan, the Punjabi Lion Chima, and your boys of the all-day crew, Aiden Andrew and Bryce Cusa, get in the ring with the appeal of Jack Tracy, Nathan Brick, Jason Xavier, and the SPW, well, and I mean, they're the SPW Tag Team Champions. Let me not take anything away from those three young men. Excuse me. Of course, the SPW's reigning, undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion, the Obsidian Adonis himself, Illumine. He's going to tag up with his boys. This is going to be 8-man action. That is going to be something very special after what we've seen in last night on the Sunday at Hostile Holiday. There is a lot of heat and a lot of tension here. Bobby Callahan coming up short in this match, but what's going to happen on the next event when we get to SPW Loyalty on Sunday, January 19th, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be something special. You need to get ready. 2025 is coming in on a hot streak. SPW already setting the pace with this big matchup, and plenty other matches are going to be on the card. I guarantee you want to be there because January 2020, not even January, but 2025 for SPW is something special, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the 25 years of SPW. We hope to bring you more history of SPW as we build. But I mean, after last night, and the champ said it. He said it to you. And of course, the champ, he was on the channel last Thursday, and he used this phrase, ho, 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 bitch. And he reused that in the ring. Got a great pop from us because we're like, hey, we heard it first. But ladies and gentlemen, the champ told Mr. Z and told the world one more time, everybody wants to talk about one supreme night. He is the one supreme knight. He is the one supreme. All roads seem to lead to one supreme knight, and all roads through one supreme knight lead to Illumide, the Obsidian Adonis. He is the sitting champ. I don't think he's losing that belt going in to one supreme knight. The 25th anniversary show on April 27th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, all roads are going to lead. And the champ said he is the one supreme. He is one supreme knight. And I don't know how you don't walk out of Hostile Holiday going, man, I want to be on that card. If you were there, you were there. If you're anywhere else and you're a wrestler, I'm telling you, the card you want to be on in April, who cares about WrestleMania? It'll be fun. It'll be worth watching. But the hottest action, the best stuff is going to take place that following Sunday, April 27th. Yep. 25 years of SPW, the 25th anniversary show. When they bring you one supreme night, I'm telling you, I went on that card. I'm not a trained wrestler, but I'm willing to get in there. I'm willing to get and dance. I mean, what can I do to help better this show? I want to be, you know, I want the main event. I'll take the main event. I'll go through one night, one supreme night. I'll go through the one supreme. I ain't scared. Maybe. At all. Crazy. Maybe. But I mean, you know.
I'd go in the one-legged man in the ass kicking contest.
It's good.
That's how I feel going into this.
I'll bring my insurance policy. I'll bring the super heavyweight luchador himself, Senor G. No, but I mean, I don't know how you can't not want to be like, I want in that main event. I don't know. I did. And ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm talking big, but I mean, it's just that excitement to see what is coming, what is going to happen. One Supreme Night is going to be something
exactly
special. And I'm not a trained wrestler. I know that. I've never, you know, I'm not Mr. Athletic. You know, I don't have any formal training, and that's fine. But I cannot not want to be.
They got exactly. They got you with the feels right there. Like you want to be about. Yeah,
I want to be a part of it. I mean, hopefully, I mean, I'm going to throw it out there now for those who are listening. I hope that I can have one moment on one Supreme Night. I'd love to be a Supreme Night. Hell, maybe the champ's listening. Hey, champ, maybe we can work something out. It may, you know, the appeal could really use a managerial skill, not necessarily for the talking, because all those boys can talk great. But I mean, you know, somebody to help out with, you know, your travel plans, taking care of business, making sure everything's taken care of. Make sure you have the right snack trays, the shootery boards, whatever. You know, whatever I can do to still, you know, I might saying something
You'll take
wrong.
care of the catering?
Yeah, I got you.
You take care of
you
guys. Take care of the catering.
We need a good, strong manager.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah, we go ahead and do that. I'll just I'll hang tight.
Yeah,
if I need muscle, I'll call the big lion, the big Punjabi lion. He's got my back.
The big Punjabi lion. Well, you know, you can call Chima, and if you're going to take that side, I guess we see where each other stands. I guess you're going to align yourself on that Bobby Callahan, Chima all-day crew line. I've got to stick with my boy. I stick, you know, it's all we.
Yes, exactly.
No, don't change your story now. I already stepped up, and you're no. You just said that you'll call on your powerhouse Chima to back you up. So we see where you put you drew the line in the sand. You want to be on the opposite side. That's cool. We can still work together, but when it comes down to business is first. And you know, if I got to stand with my boys of the appeal, you know, and if you got to stand on that other side, I guess
That's
you know.
Okay. I'll put a call into Tony. He can put in a special phone call for me again.
That's okay. Oh, you're gonna go call. You're gonna go call somebody. That's all right. Tony, just remember who seeked Marty Richards on you. Okay, that man right there was the one stirring the pot. No doubt about it. So don't get it twisted like Twisted Sister, and that'll date us a little bit too. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it.
Oh, man.
We're not gonna take it anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, SPW Hostile Holiday was crazy.
Ahead of us.
Dude, ladies and gentlemen, 2024 closing out on fire. We got one more big event this year with Ugly Dojo. Their big event, Three Rivers Community Center, Vacaville, California, this Saturday. Be there or else. I don't know what to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Big Ugly himself. Illuminate is that guy that you're not going to see much longer. We are preaching and preaching and preaching and preaching that story. Now you're hearing it from somebody else that's outside of us. I'm telling you, if you're not paying attention to the Dark Fox, the Obsidian Adonis, Illuminate, you're missing out. Let alone the rest of the talent that are a part of all these great companies that we're working for. There's going to be a lot of great talent at Ugly Dojo, no doubt about it. Hostile Holiday is in the rearview. We're moving forward. I promise you, when we get that all put together, we'll let you know, and it'll be a great show. It'll be a great couple hours to watch, but it won't even feel like a couple hours, because even being there live in attendance and watching these shows, time goes by so fast. It is just like you don't realize that it just started, and by the time it's over, you're like, did that just? And I mean, the amazing ending. A Hostile Holiday, people, go watch it, please. Once we get it up, I will let you know. We will make we'll make a big announcement. I'm hoping it'll be out before Christmas. I'm hoping to have you guys, ladies and gentlemen, ready to watch that by Christmas. It may be a busy Sunday for me and the big man here, though, if that is true. Maybe a busy Monday and Sunday and Monday, because we got a lot to do to get it all prettied up, because we're busy this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Ugly Dojo.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
Let's get ready for Saturday. That's all I can say right now. Is we got Friday, of course, but Saturday, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Yes. I mean, that's where you need Pat McAfee's music there, like, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen,
yes,
this has been one of the longest IWC podcasts, and we're excited. I mean, when you get us going this long and we're still excited and we're still talking, then something's doing right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Independent Wrestling Community Podcast. If you're an independent booker, promoter, wrestler, please reach out to us. It is well worth it. Look at who we've just had on. Two big names, the Dark Fox, the Obsidian Adonis, Illuminate, the SPW Heavyweight Champion, many other titles, I'm sure. And, of course, tonight, SPW Loyalty, Legacy, History, a former SPW champion, a man that, told you tonight all the deep history with SPW, all the way to Ugly Dojo, who has children who are carrying on his legacy and making him a proud daddy. And that is amazing. And some tier names in that. I mean, when we talk about Titus Alexander, I mean, Mr. Z can teach you all about that, and I may have to send him on a deep dive mission. It may be time for another deep dive from your big man here, just on the history of Titus Alexander and the connection and the history that's there.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, this weekend, you're going to see the younger part of that legacy, Bishop Dorian, in action. We've seen him in action a couple of times, and there's a young man there that's definitely going to make waves when he finally breaks through. And it's going to be some awesome stuff. And Bishop, as you know, shows up in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. He's always here to chat. But again, if you're an independent broker, if you're an independent booker, promoter, a wrestler, if you're part of the independent landscape, reach out to us. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on TikTok, X. You can drop comments here. You can always check out valuewrestling@gmail.com. The link tree's in the bio, the links in the description. It's all there.
Or better get, folks, if you see us at a show and you want to talk to us, let us know you want to come on the show. You see us every third Sunday, if there's anybody out there.
Except on April 27th, when we take over the fourth Sunday for Supreme Pro Wrestling's 25th anniversary show.
There you go.
One Supreme night. I want to be on that card.
There you go.
I got to be on that card. I got to have a role at One Supreme night. I've got to have a little more. I don't know if it's an in-ring interview. I don't know.
Do you want to take the chop for me? If I get chopped that night,
No, see, the chop is your thing. I can't take that spotlight away from you. That is your story. That is your.
No, that's me.
That's your thing. I don't want to take your thing away from it. It really is more of your thing. I'm just there to get it in place and make the magic happen. I think it's fun. But I just want that next piece. I want to show that I have some skills. I have the gift of gab. I can talk all day and all night and keep going and go some more. Who knows? Maybe I get a good interview segment. Maybe we get something special. I don't know. I know you're
There you
thinking,
go.
oh, we should put you back in the ring with Jekyll's and you guys can have your confrontation. I'm kind of good with that. If I never have to see Jekyll's again, I might be okay. Not Bader. I'm not angry. Not scared.
That's not me.
I mean, I know you want to get in there with Chima again, right?
I don't know. Now you got me concerned because Big Ugly has already stated. So it's like I'm more concerned about what's to come than thinking about that right
Ladies
now.
and gentlemen, and on Saturday, guess what? Another name signs his name into the Choppy Chaw Hall of Fame. Big Ugly JD Bishop, and I mean, who knows who he could reach out to and be like, hey, I got a guy here who likes to get chopped. Come on through. Let's
I've seen that list of names. You know,
let's chop ya.
I've seen that list of names.
He said some names tonight. Timothy Thatcher,
I
J.R.
know,
Kratos, his own boy,
yes.
Titus Alexander, the connection to Jacob Fatu.
Come on, Jacob. I bought you a beer, man. Come on, don't do that to me.
Hey, everything's got to come full circle. Wouldn't that be amazing to see Jacob Fatu show up at one Supreme Night, the 25th anniversary show? What if they all showed up? What if Jacob shows up with Journey and Juicy? And what if we just do a Samoan tree chopping?
Oh, ow.
That three get to chop you in succession.
Someone's buying me some drinks.
I'll get you.
I know there's a bar attached to that spot. Someone buy a drink.
I'll get you a PBR. Or no, wait. I'll get you a Naughty Ice.
Oh no!
Hell, you know what? I get you. You take the if you take the tree chops in one night, I'll make you howl at the moon. I'll go get you. I'll go dig up some old school Mad Dog 2020.
I taste that now. Just
hey, it wasn't that bad going down. It was not that bad going down if you got the right flavors, right? It was coming back up.
Right.
It was coming back up, and that
when you would walk around at 100-degree heat, and that's all you had all day.
And that got you howling at the moon by the time you were done with that bottle. And that stuff went down smooth that you didn't even think you were drinking that much until it hit you. And then when it hits you, it's like a whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes.
Yeah. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am spitting
I believe
facts.
I've fallen asleep on a trampoline one night. I don't know how I got back to that trampoline, but that's where I ended up. Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great night. I got an article to read here. Anyways, we gotta get going. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. This is the IWCP, the Independent Wrestling Community Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you on the next one. Tell them good night, Mr. Z.
Good night, folks.